Time now is just 11 minutes past 7. Good morning. There are high living costs, stagnating wages, changes to the benefits system. All of this means an increasing number of children are going without the nutritious food they need. This is according to a committee of MPs.
Yes, they say people are being forced to rely on the very cheapest foods, which are often low in nutrients, but high in calories. Families hit by unemployment or long-term sickness are most likely to be affected. But the government says the number of children living in workless households is at a record low.
Siobhan Collingwood is a head teacher at a primary school in Morecambe and joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
To you. The reason we are talking to you about this is because you have direct experience. We're saying 1 in 5 children now has problems accessing a household with food, basically, nutritious food and a certain level of nutrition, and you're witnessing this firsthand.
We are. Unfortunately, I've got faces behind all of those statistics. So we have at any point in time at the moment about 35 children in our school who are dependent upon food banks in order to have...
So a third of the children in...
No, 35 children across the school. So about 3 children in every class. That's about a tenth of the school that would be dependent upon food bank usage.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, how do you know that? You know about the families share this kind of information with you?
Exactly. It's probably a little bit higher than that because that's just the ones that we know about. So we have a very close working relationship with the food bank in the area because when families come in and tell us their desperate stories, we need to be able to refer them quickly to get some help because they may already have gone days without food or they may already not have any money to put in the meter for electricity that night.
Can you share with us, how that process happens? So this is a family who's struggling, a parent who's struggling. They come to you, and how does that conversation go? Well, how do you know about these things, and what help are you able to give them?
Well, usually the first indicator is the child's behaviour, because when children have been food deprived, it alters their behaviour, so they do become quite food obsessed. So we have some children who will be stealing fruit cores from the bins after the children have had some fruit in class. We have children who have nothing in their lunch boxes, and children who are just fixated upon food. So that will be something that we'll speak to parents about and say, why do you think that might be? Or we may be aware, because we have such a good, we're the only agency really that opens our doors every day. So families come through, they have a very close working relationship with us. They'll come in and they'll tell us when they're really in desperate trouble. So even if we've not picked up on it from the children, they might come in and tell us themselves.
It must be heartbreaking to witness. Children taking used old fruit cores from the bins simply just because they are that hungry.
It is heartbreaking, and it's just not okay. The fact that we now have 3,741 food bank packages given out last year within the Morecambe area alone, and it's a massive rise, a massive increase. And we know that there are studies that show that the effects on children's mental health of being exposed to that sort of poverty is significant.
Can I just ask you about, I mean, I'm assuming you've been a teacher for some time. I mean, have you seen things change? What are you seeing in terms of what's changed over the years?
It's a variable pattern. So poverty's always been with us to some extent. There was a drop in poverty statistics, in child poverty statistics, reached its lowest point at 2011 to 12, and it's been rising steadily since. So we have definitely seen an increase in just families arriving, bursting into tears, telling me that they have no means of feeding their children over the next few days.
What are they saying is the trigger now? This statistic, 1 in 5 children faced with poverty and a lack of nutrition. What are they saying? What are these families saying to you is driving this now? Because we had a raft of reasons when we were introducing you. What's their main concern?
So the biggest driver in our area, the Citizens Advice Bureau published a report in our area, and it said that 80% of the food bank usage within our area is linked to universal credit and problems with universal credit and the rollout of universal credit. It's definitely put families in crisis in terms of having to wait for their benefits to kick in or to change and finding themselves in debt. Families are coming in telling me about routinely loaning food to each other when they find themselves in those situations, watering milk down so that the children don't realise that they've not got milk.
You're not here to talk politics, and completely understand that. People will understand from what you said. You're practically trying to help people. But I suspect that if we were to have a government minister on right now, they would probably say that they're doing more than ever before to try and help people. There would probably be a series of statistics they would roll out that suggest that money is being spent and allocated resources. You must despair sometimes when you see what happens in your classrooms as compared with...
I do, because there's a complete dissonance between what we're hearing with statistics, and that the problem is we don't have a proper statistical base. So Emma Lewell-Book, where the MP, is looking to get a proper statistical data set that we can use that will allow us to not get confused by false statistics or false data, because my day-to-day experience is telling me that this is a growing problem.
What do you do on a day-to-day practical level to help these children and help these families?
We have, before Christmas, we gave out 20 food parcels to families to make sure that they would have a Christmas dinner. We gave out another 25 food bank parcels to families to keep them going over the holiday. We open our school during the holidays to feed children, so that those families that are reliant on free school meals can still feed their children during the holidays. We have another food club where parents come in, spend £3 and can then access food from local supermarkets that would otherwise go to waste. So there's a lot of stuff I never thought I was going to do as a teacher around about meeting people's basic needs, because children who are fixated on Maslow's basic needs can't learn. So unless we handle and do something positive to change those experiences of children, they're not going to be able to do that core business of learning in our school.